Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's not your average Josh back here again for actually a new segment this time here on this YouTube. A new segment I like to call Fast Break Movie Reviews. Yeah, I know, pretty original. This is kind of a segment that I'm going to be doing every now and then when I have movies that I've seen that I haven't necessarily been able to catch up on and do singular movie reviews for them. It's going to be kind of a video of brief little breakdowns of a few movies that I've seen, and that is kind of basically the segment here. First, I will be talking about The Woman King, and I did see this a few weeks back. I just hadn't had a chance to do a movie review on it. As I kind of mentioned in some of my other videos, I'm pretty busy for the most part most of the time. I'm trying to really get my time down with doing a lot of these movie reviews, but I did see this a few weeks ago, and I did really enjoy this. This was on a day where this was the first movie I saw. I was seeing 3 movies on this day, and so it was really great to start out with a great bang here. I had been hearing great things about this movie. I did not see it on the opening weekend or anything, but I had always heard great things. I had seen it, the Rotten Tomatoes score was pretty high. Everyone was speaking pretty glowingly about this movie, and I had a great time. I thought Viola Davis was really good in this as a lead character. There's gonna be some names I don't remember from this movie just because it was a few weeks ago, and I'm really getting through this pretty fast, but Viola Davis was really great. I think she definitely deserves to be at least considered for nomination for an Oscar. I just love the brutality of this movie. There was many times where I was watching this where I really, after the movie was over, I looked and I was like, is this movie really rated PG-13? Because the brutality and the blood is really was quite surprising to me. I was not expecting it to be as brutal as it was, and I really loved it. The storyline of this village of people that had been selling other Africans to white people, also while doing other trades just to make money and thrive in their own way. And the fact that you have this group of women who are the warriors of this village, and the fact that they want to try and change the king that is now there, played by John Boyega, who I thought was really good in this. I thought it was a cool concept of them trying to get out of this way of living of selling their own people, basically selling other Africans, and say, no, we can make money without doing this. And you have that whole conflict going on throughout the movie, and I just really loved it. I thought the action throughout, the journey that you go on, I was very emotionally involved. You have this little girl, I'm sure if you've seen it, the little girl that ends up being Viola Davis's daughter in this, I thought was played really well. And just this journey of also becoming a part of a family that's not your own. You have this little girl, and I don't remember her name in the movie, but she's not a little girl now. She's in the movie, she's about like I say a young adult, teenager to young adult. And you really have this journey with her of discovering who she is and becoming a part of a family. And I thought that was the main heart and soul of this movie. Just beyond all the great action you get, the great just ruthlessness, and at times there's heartbreaking moments as well. I just thought this movie was so great overall. I really enjoyed it, and I would give Woman King a 9.5 out of 10. Really good movie, not necessarily perfect, but that is The Woman King for me. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Don't Worry, Darling. And with all the controversy going in with this movie, of course, going into it, I had a lot of intrigue, a lot of anticipation for what this was actually going to be. And I will say, with everything going on surrounding this whole movie, the Harry Styles Spitgate, the Olivia Wilde Harry Styles fuckgate, the Olivia Wilde, is she a real director or not thing, or is Florence Pugh the director of this? All this stuff going on. I thought overall this movie turned out really damn good. I actually had a good time with this. I thought the story is really interesting in and of itself. The whole time I did not know what was really going on until they reveal it for the most part in this movie. If you haven't seen it, I will go into a little bit of spoilers here, but I love the fact that basically you have this VR scenario going on here, and a real twist on a movie like this of someone being controlled without them knowing it. I thought the VR angle in the end, it really is quite terrifying concept here. I mean, just the fact that you would have a guy in Harry Styles who is in real life a loser, you end up finding out, and then just he gets baited by this company or whatever to do this experiment, and then without Florence Pugh even knowing it, she's put under and put into this fake world where she thinks is real. It's a very terrifying concept, and I love the whole 50s, 60s, whatever you want to call it, look to this town that they're in, this fake town, which you don't know at first. I just think the mystery and the just all the things that are going on, the drama, the little stuff you start to figure out as the movie goes on, I thought was done really well, honestly. Well, direction was really good. The movie looked good. The dialogue was really well done. There were some times where I thought the movie did drag a bit in terms of there'd be certain scenes where I was like, okay, I see what they're doing. Let's just get to the point here. But I thought the acting overall was really well done. Everyone was doing good in this, even Olivia Wilde. Florence Pugh as the main actress in this movie. I thought she did a really good job of playing this character. That classic kind of trope in any movie, really, but specifically in a movie like this, that's kind of I would classify it as a psychological thriller. I thought she did a good job of playing this character that you could be invested in and not being, too annoying. Sometimes these main characters can be make decisions that are stupid. I thought for the most part she made decisions that I was on board with. I was on board with where her character was going. And Chris Pine playing this villainous character, I thought was really good in this. And his wife that's in the movie, I know I've seen her in something else. I'm sure I'll put it on the screen. She was really good in this as well. There's a little twist at the end of the movie that I did like. Also with that going on, I thought it was a little. I will say I did like it, but I thought it was a little out of place in a way because you hadn't really had any hints going on that she was like this. But it is kind of cool also because you don't necessarily need to know all the details. Maybe she was also completely in on this thing with him, and maybe she was even the mastermind that kind of puts that out there. But yeah, overall, I did enjoy this movie more than most, and I will give Don't Worry, Darling a 7 out of 10. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Don't Worry, Darling. The next movie I'm going to talk about is Amsterdam. And now, after those two movies, we are going to begin into a little more of a mixed negative view on some of these movies that I'm going to be talking about. The next two, really, especially. Amsterdam. David O. Russell directed this. I did see Silver Linings Playbook, and I really did like that movie. I like it a lot. I would love to visit that movie again, actually, because I might love it, really, honestly. Like, the dialogue in that movie, the chemistry between Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence, I thought was so good in that movie. Yeah, the tone, the style, the subject matter of the movie, I thought was really deep at times, and I thought it was just a really well-made movie. I did not see American Hustle. As I never got to see. I always heard pretty mixed reactions on that, too negative from some. Going into this movie, I didn't know how to feel, really. I was just hoping it was going to be good. Obviously, a big cast like American Hustle. You got Christian Bale in here, Margot Robbie. You got David Washington, Denzel Washington's son in here. And I did not see Tenet, but I had heard that movie was a little shaky in terms of a lot of things. But this is the first movie I've seen, I believe, with David Washington in it. You have a bunch of people coming in this movie making cameos. You have Robert De Niro coming in here at times, Michael Shannon, Mike Myers, and that's no spoilers really, but also the movie's been out for a while. So you have a slew of characters that come in here, but my main issue with Amsterdam, and this is really what it boils down to, is I just thought it was a fairly boring story. On a story that was, like the pacing of the movie and the way it was written and just I don't know, just the stuff that is going on, you watching it, you're thinking, or I was thinking to myself, I should be more interested in this. I should be more entertained, more enveloped, more enthralled with what's going on. But I just I didn't vibe with that. I didn't like the tone necessarily at times. I thought they tried to fit in too many jokes in the movie that didn't work, and it just felt quirky, not in a good way, quirky a lot of times, and I just wasn't invested. That's really what it comes down to. This is really just a movie to me. There's some great moments. There's some moments that did make me laugh. There's some moments that I was very entertained. But overall, even the main story that you got going on here with this sort of a throuple in a way, but really just three really close friends in David Washington, Margot Robbie, and Christian Bale's characters. And I didn't even really vibe with their dynamic that much. I saw what it was. It wasn't as if it was confusing. It just wasn't interesting to me. That's really what it comes down to, and that's the majority of this movie. And then the thing that really kind of topped off my, I guess, negative look at this movie or negative feeling towards this movie overall is just, in the end, I'd say in the last like hour, 30 minutes, a lot of what's going on in the story feels like a very overhanded, like hitting you on the head, like, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this was a bad thing in history, people that are like this are bad. It just felt like they were hitting you over the head with stuff that was obvious. Like, anybody with the right head would be like, yeah, that's obviously wrong. But it just felt like they were hitting you over the head with it, like, we gotta let you know, yeah, this is wrong, I feel this way. And I just didn't like it at all. And that's really my main thoughts on Amsterdam. There's not really much more I can get into with it. I didn't really have that good of a time with this movie. I would never really want to see this again unless it was with someone that hadn't seen it and wants to watch it. And it's really just disappointing, I think, overall, with all the actors that are involved in this. The director, like I said, I love Silver Linings Playbook. Never saw American Hustle, but just really disappointing that a movie turns out like this with this cast, and that it really just goes to show you that the cast doesn't make a movie as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and give Amsterdam a 4 out of 10. I didn't hate the movie, but that's kind of my overall thoughts on Amsterdam. The next movie I'm going to be talking about, the conclusion to the Michael Myers story, Halloween Ends. And yeah, I really wish it would end. I don't really have a lot of, or really much of any positive to say about this movie. I'm going to be completely honest. Didn't completely hate it. It's not a 0 out of 10. It's not even a 1 out of 10. But I will say this movie was not enjoyable much at all. I had to see this twice. And I do say I had to see this twice because after watching it one time, I could never have laid my eyes on this again. And I really want to come off like I'm not hating. Again, I saw it twice. I went into the second time trying to watch it from a completely clean perspective, not a person that's loved the Halloween franchise, because that is one thing I will say from the beginning before I even get into any more of this movie. I love the Halloween franchise. Just grew up watching it every October, watching at least a few of the Halloween movies. I love, obviously, the first two. Never saw Season of the Witch. I'm going to cross that off. But even 4 through 6, I love H2O. I love Resurrection in their own ways. And not to say that they're all great movies, but I do love them in their own ways. They all feel like Halloween movies. Now we get to, of course, you have the Rob Zombie ones, which I won't necessarily touch as much here in this, but then you have the new trilogy, and the 2018 Halloween movie I really did enjoy, and at the time I was disappointed. I wanted it to be a little better. It felt like, even that movie, at the time when I first saw it, it did feel like a cash grab thing, which of course it is, obviously, anyway. It's a franchise that's been going on forever, but it just didn't feel like there was that heart there necessarily in some of the other Halloween movies. That, again, could have been just me. And looking back on it, it probably was just me being like, I still love the older ones, but and the fact, I also was a little jaded that they basically removed all the other history and only made it Halloween 1 and 2 was the only ones that were actually, or the first one, I think. I don't even think they counted 2. The first movie is the only one that actually counts. And then they made Laurie not the sister of Michael anymore. I just never liked that direction of the way they went with it. I always loved the fact, or it always kept me connected in a way that Laurie and Michael were brother and sister. But again, if they're going to remove all the other history, I get it. Anyways, the 2018 one was good overall, especially looking back on it now. I really did enjoy the 2018 Halloween movie. Then you get Halloween Kills, and that was just a horrible movie to me. It was not good at all. The whole evil dies tonight.
Evil dies tonight!
Evil dies tonight!
All right, everybody.
I mean, it was just, the writing was not very good. But in the end, I do still think it did feel like a Halloween movie. The 2018 one and Halloween Kills did feel like a Halloween movie. And overall, it was entertaining enough. The movie had that trait of, it's so bad it's good at many times. And overall, I did still like it. Michael still killed a lot. Okay, so now we get to this Halloween. Halloween Ends, and I thought they just really dropped the ball here on many levels. First of all, this one's probably maybe a little longer. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Then the other little quick movie reviews I'm joining this, but because I do have some things to say about this movie. I will say, as soon as the first trailer came out for Halloween Ends, okay, I was already a little jaded because Halloween Kills had come out, and I didn't like that movie. But I was, it's going to be the end of this trilogy, and I do love the franchise of Halloween, so I'm going to go ahead and go see this anyway. And from the moment the movie started, the moment you have this guy come on, and honestly, I don't even remember his fucking name in the movie. What is it? Corey? Yeah, Corey, I think is his name. Yeah, you have Corey coming in, being the main character of this movie, I will add. He is the main character, not Laurie Strode, not fucking Michael, which right there, if I was in the writing room, or anybody in the writing room with brains should be like, Halloween Ends. And with the trailer as well, but before they even made the movie, this is before the trailer even comes out. Like, should we be making this movie so much about this character, Corey? Or should we focus on Michael versus Laurie, what we end up marketing this movie as in the fucking trailers? And to me, that's where this movie failed just from the beginning. I thought the story of Corey being possessed or obsessed with a killer and being this guy who kind of gets bullied, the whole bullies in this movie, they were so over the top. I couldn't buy that or vibe with that really at all. I was like, okay, there's too over the top, the bullies. They're being so, like, they're going after this one guy so much, it just seems so unrealistic in a way. Like, I know bullies can be mean and stuff, but it just felt really movie unrealistic. And so I get the whole idea of Corey being this kind of loner guy who turns up into a killer. I think that's a good story for a separate movie. But when you're doing a movie, Halloween Ends, at the end of a trilogy, a Michael Myers movie, and then Michael Myers ends up really only cameoing in his fucking movie, that's where I had the issue with. And the fact that they neutered Michael in this, they really neutered him. Like, just the fact that there's so much they don't explain. I get the fact that he was fucked up in Halloween Kills, but to me, even if they took away the other history from the older movies, Michael Myers movies, Halloween movies have always been, at this point, it's gotten to a point where it's okay. Even in this new trilogy, it seems like, even in Halloween Kills, that Michael is just a supernatural force. He is not a human at this point. He is a fucking, just a immovable object. And the fact that they sort of try to humanize him in this in a way and make it seem like he was hurt from Halloween Kills, so he just stays in the sewer for years and has to build up his strength again. It just felt like, okay, well, then shouldn't he die of hunger or some shit? Or is he getting his, like, or is he still this immovable supernatural type force? I was a little confused by that. It was frustrating to me already. And then you get the moment where this movie really just completely, basically went out the window for me. Like, I tried to still be invested and still look at it from a good perspective or from a open-minded perspective, but when you see Corey going into the sewer, Michael has him by the throat, and then all of a sudden you have this moment where, I don't know if it's Corey or if it's Michael. I still don't really know here. I'm sure other people probably have come to the conclusion of what it really was, but you have Corey or Michael all of a sudden seeing all the moments in Corey's life, the moment where he accidentally kills the kid at the beginning of the movie. Sorry, spoilers. Kills the kid at the beginning of the movie, and you have all these moments where he's getting bullied and stuff, and it goes through it, and then Michael just lets him go. To me, I don't know, I'm just like, Michael would never let anybody go. I don't give a fuck. And so it seems like they're just changing his character in this, even from what it has been in the trilogy. It's not like I'm mad that they're changing it from what it was before this new trilogy. They seem like they've changed it from what it was in 2018. And so it was really frustrating to me, honestly. This movie was not that good to me. I was not interested. I was pretty bored throughout. You really just spend a lot of time focusing on Corey, and then he just conveniently happens to get with the granddaughter of Laurie Strode, her daughter Allison, and the fact that they're the only two left. It just felt like the fact they're the only two left, they should have just been a straight out Michael goes after Laurie in this, period. That's what most of the movie is about. Corey could still be a character, and you still have him be with Allison and stuff, but it just felt like, I don't know, they focused way too much on that part of it, and that's where this movie derailed for me. I don't ever care to ever see this movie again. To me, this is right below with whatever the worst Halloween movies you can see are. I don't really, I just felt like with the writing, they just completely went wrong from the beginning of this. And I thought, once you do get Michael and Laurie face off at the end, which is really the only last like 15 to 20 minutes, if that, of them actually facing off, I thought that was pretty lackluster too as well. Like, they didn't go on for that long. It wasn't as good. Like, to me, the 2018 Halloween, looking back on it now, that should have been the only movie that came out. This should not have been a trilogy. It should have came out the 2018 Halloween movie and just ended it. I think the way that ended perfectly with her doing the badass thing with her daughter and her granddaughter of fucking finally capturing him, even though, of course, he gets out. I just thought that was a perfect ending. They could have just stopped there, made that Halloween movie, and then waited like several years down the line and just reboot it again or whatever. Because they're going to do it anyway. So why the fuck do I even care about that? But I just did not have a good time with this at all. It was very underwhelming. It did not feel like a Halloween movie at all. It felt like a different movie where Michael just pops up in. So that's my main thoughts on Halloween Ends. I will give Halloween Ends a 2 out of 10. And that is very, I feel like that's very respectable, actually, because I could give it a 1 out of 10. I just really didn't like much about this movie. You even have another moment, like... One of the things in this trilogy that's really perplexed me, there's always 1 or 2 lines in this trilogy in each of the movies that is like, where did that come from? Like, this movie is not a straight out comedy. And you have a moment here where Laurie says this crazy line where I don't even remember what it was. She's trying to get Allison to, I think, go out with Corey eventually, and she's really trying to get her to move on. And the fact that Laurie is just so seemingly happy from most of this movie is kind of weird as well. You don't really get the idea that she's as traumatized as she's been in the past in the other movies, even though this is like further down the line. She lost her daughter, for God's sakes. But you just have this scene where she's like opens up her, or she didn't really open up her shirt, but she like pretends she's like, you gotta go out there and say, come get my fucking tits or some shit. She says some crazy shit like that, and it just felt like that it's just so random. I mean, I don't know. That's more of like a nitpicky thing where I was already frustrated with the movie, but yeah, that's my overall thoughts on Halloween Ends. And that's pretty much it for my fast break movie reviews this time. This is my first time doing this segment. Looking for more reviews soon. If anyone's watching this, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on TikTok and Snapchat. That is where I'll be posting content like this. But for the most part, all content like this will be here on YouTube. I think anyone is supporting this channel. I'm just doing this for fun right now when I have the time to do so, when I'm not busy. So I appreciate anyone who is watching this. But that'll be it. I will talk to you guys later.